us. Again, my name is Schauri, and I am an enrollment advisor here at UOnline. And I would like to welcome you all to our Sports Business webinar, A Day in the Life of a UOnline Student. The picture that you actually see right now is Leslie Fitzpatrick. He is one of the students that is currently enrolled in our sport administration program. He's actually supposed to be joining us tonight. He hasn't arrived just yet. But don't worry if for whatever reason he's not able to make it. I definitely have some information by way of feedback that I've received from my students that I feel is definitely going to be beneficial to all of you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so first thing I want to point out is that the goal of this webinar is to get you guys all of the information that you need. As you can see, there is a visual on this first slide right here, and in the right corner you can see this is a place where you can ask questions. I definitely encourage you all to ask questions throughout the webinar. We have allotted some time for questions at the end, but definitely if there's something that I say or something that you have a question about, feel free to go ahead and type that question in, and I'll go ahead and respond to it. Also, I wanted to point out that a recording of this session will be made available so you can reference it later. So if for whatever reason you need to log out, if you have to go take care of the kids, prepare dinner, whatever the case may be, we can definitely get a copy of this recording to you. In addition to that, I wanted to start off with some really exciting news for our students who are looking to start in the fall, which is our next start date. I wanted to tell you right off the bat that we do have scholarship opportunities available to you. All students starting in the fall will receive a minimum 35% tuition scholarship. In addition to that, as a thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules and attending the webinar, all students who start in the fall who have attended this webinar session will get the deposit waiver waived for them, or will get the deposit fee waived for them. That's something I'll go ahead and address later on in the webinar as well. All right, so the agenda for tonight, we're going to talk about a few different topics in regards to the sport administration program. We're going to speak a little bit about the program structure, the student experience. We're going to talk a bit about the classroom, the faculty engagement, which is always a hot topic, and then of course my favorite, the admissions information. You still definitely have time to apply for fall if you haven't started the process already. I'll definitely be sure to point out our contact information towards the end of the webinar so that you can reach out to us and we can help you get started with that application process. All right. So that's me on the left-hand side. Again, my name is Schauri, and I'm an enrollment advisor here at UOnline. And the gentleman to the right, again, is Leslie Fitzpatrick, who is a current UOnline student in the sport administration program. All right, so program structure. The first thing that I want to highlight is that the faculty who teach the on-campus programs also teach the online programs. So right there you have a great resource in our faculty. They're world-renowned, they're first class in their fields. So anything that you have as far as questions, as far as networking, how is this information going to be beneficial to me, they can definitely help you with that. I've met with them on several occasions. They're excited about the program. They're excited about being able to reach students not only locally, but students as far as, Texas, California, international students, all the work that they've done within their respective fields. They definitely want to get out to you guys and definitely make sure that you have all the tools that you need to be successful in this program. It's 30 credits to complete the full degree, and the completion time is about 24 months. Now, the way that that's broken down, that's a question that most students usually have, is that it's 2 classes per semester. Each class is 7 weeks in length with a 1-week break in between. And what that allows for you to do is to budget your, everyday schedules, your work life, family, friends, all of the other things that you have going on. It allows you to balance that with your school life. So you can still, get your degree and take care of all of the other activities that you have going on. A lot of times students ask, well, how am I going to learn the information? So it's going to be, a variety of different things. There's going to be short videos, there's going to be group projects, interactive media presentations. So all of the stuff that comes with online learning, you're going to be doing within this program. We're also going to be talking in a bit about a Twitter option that we have that's actually part of the online program, and that's a great way to stay connected not only with the faculty but with the students in the program, and that's something that you're going to have to look forward to as well.
Amy?
All right. So,
sorry.
Leslie. How are you?
Hi, good, good, good. How are you doing? Sorry, I just ran a little late on the field, so I just got to the
Not a
office and
problem.
yeah,
Not
just
a
got it.
see everyone. Leslie was out doing sports things, which is exactly what this program is designed to do to help him advance in that career. So Leslie is of course on the phone now. As I mentioned before, he is a current student in the UOnline program, and this is a perfect time for you to go ahead and join us because we are going to be speaking to you about your experience as a student with the UOnline program. So I guess the first thing that I would want you to answer for our students is what led you to consider pursuing a master's degree, and why did you choose UM?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me, first of all, and welcome to all the prospective students. For me, I had a 10-year professional career in soccer, great experiences, played for my national team for a bunch of years, and I'd always had a desire to further myself academically. I went to an Ivy League school for my undergrad, had a degree in political science and economics from Columbia University, but within that, my true passion was sport and soccer to be specific. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was looking always on the lookout for a program that would allow me to be able to, further my education. And I just came upon this program. I'd actually looked at a similar program, but was just soccer specific, offered by the University of Ohio. And I chose not to do it at that point in time, and I was really happy with that decision when I ran into this one because it gave me a little bit of an ability to expand my horizons just beyond the soccer perspective to
Mm-hmm.
the global environment of sport. And funnily enough, the University of Miami, coming from Trinidad and Tobago, was one of the schools and universities that I actually knew about in the U.S. from early on, maybe because of the football program and the popularity of the Hurricanes. But they had never been a men's soccer program at NCAA level at the university. So when I was looking at schools to go to, I considered but they didn't have a NCAA school. So it just kind of came full circle for me that I got the opportunity now to pursue the master's there and to actually get down to campus. I have a lot of family in Florida, to get down to campus at Coral Gables and see the university and meet the professors. And it's been fantastic, having the chance to interact with them personally and as well as online, and getting the chance to meet a few of the online students in person and also interacting with them it's been a true blessing for me. And like I said, the biggest thing for me, probably a little bit of pressure too, because my sister, she's now a dentist, and my other sister is doing a PhD, and I was kind of getting left behind. So, um, so, so I felt the need that I had to catch back up. But no, the one thing is when you get kind of pigeonholed into coaching, you're fighting for probably in the MLS or one of 30 or 20 head coaching jobs and one of 20, maybe 20 or 30 assistant jobs. And I figured with the degree it put me at a higher stratosphere in terms of now being able to, if I stayed in soccer, looking at a general manager job or something, a vice president of operations or something like that. And then I have a true passion for sports that also goes beyond soccer. So it allowed me to have the chance to now see if I can network and maybe even enter into a different sporting arena, football or baseball or basketball, all these things I follow. So I really looked at it as a degree that would give me the opportunity to first of all network and expand my horizons, and then to learn a lot more about the industry that I didn't know from the other side of it. I knew it all from the player side of it, but I didn't really have too much in-depth knowledge of how the industry works from the management side and the legal side of things.
Okay, perfect. And so I know that one of the things that you mentioned is that actually right now you coach. So I guess for our students, I would want to know, how do you manage your workload? Do you have any tips for, time management and things that they can do to help set themselves up for success?
Well, that might have been the one area of hesitancy that I had going into the program, because of that, and also the financial component. There is a certain financial component that you want to make sure you can manage. But I run a busy schedule because I'm doing this both sides of the border. So I'm the technical director of a youth academy in Toronto, Canada, and then
Mm-hmm.
I have my own academy in Buffalo, New York. So I kind of go back and forth. So actually after this, I got to do a project one of the discussions that's due by midnight, and then I got to drive down to Buffalo. So time management, I would say, is one of the things that would be a challenge if you're not wired that way. But I believe if you just set aside specific times and you stick to it, then it's it's doable. It's really doable. And for me, for instance, my schedule kind of runs where evenings into like early nights are when I'm on the field and doing a lot of stuff, and then in the daytime I'm kind of in the office doing administrative stuff. So I chose to like really focus my attention on getting the schoolwork done either late night, and I'm a late night person because I've had to deal with different continents and trying to move players to professional teams in Asia and stuff. So I've always been accustomed to being up late at night. So I use a lot of late night as my time to really get work done between the hours of like 11 and 2 a.m. And then, in the mornings, like between 10 and 12, I try to do my reading. So if I can get my reading done at around 10 to 12 before the phone really starts going and emails start coming in, and then I focus on doing my writing at night when the distractions kind of go away. That's how I've been able to manage it. And I've talked to some of my other classmates, and they have different schedules. They run different hours. Some of them are 9 to 5ers, so they do the whole 9 to 5, get the kids to bed, do the family thing, and then they work, from say 10 at night to like 1 or whatever it is. Or sometimes they try to focus a lot of this stuff on the weekends when they have a little bit more time. But I would say to each person, it's just an individual time management thing where if you understand where you can fit those 2 to 3 hours a day, it's really doable. And the workload isn't too crazy that you're not able to manage it. And it's also I think the benefit of the online is that they kind of give you the assignments for the week early on, so you can kind of go ahead and get a jump start on things if you know how you can manage it early in the week. For me, a lot of the times later in the week is good. So once you kind of find that niche in terms of what works for you, then it becomes you just get into a flow.
Okay. And so I actually had a question to come in from one potential student. And so since you spend so much time doing your coursework, which is a great thing, how have you now applied what you've been learning in the online classrooms to, your everyday career?
Yeah, two of the classes that have really impacted me personally from the online courses into my everyday is the leadership course, because of course being the technical director of the academy and then running one, you really have to deal with a lot of different groups of people, and so I have to be a leader to my coaches, and I got to be a leader to the kids, and also I got to make sure I'm managing the front office staff and all of that. And that leadership class really helped me to understand what it takes to become a leader, how to manage conflict, how to deal with adversity, how to manage egos and personalities. And the assignment that we had, the final project, they asked you to do a leadership profile on leaders in the sport industry. And again, I had a bunch of people within soccer that I could have reached out to, some heavy hitters within CONCACAF and FIFA and all that, but I kind of wanted to go outside of my comfort zone, so I did the NFL, and I was lucky enough and blessed enough to do the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, Tyrod Taylor, and the quarterback coach, David Lee. And they really, put into perspective a lot of the day-to-day things that we deal with, and, on the field, off the field, how you manage that. And now I just came from this meeting with my U16 group where we're talking about conflict management and not shying away from conflict and getting people to call each other out and clearing the air. So that's why my meeting kind of ran over, because I was getting to a really positive place with the kids where now it's not about, okay, well, he's my friend and he won't talk to me if I say this about him or if I say that, but clearing the air to get the group to move forward. So that class has been really good. The present class I'm doing right now on ethics has really helped me a lot. I've been able to kind of self-evaluate myself a lot more in how do I make certain decisions, and there's a big conflict in my playing days as opposed to a coach, because obviously in a professional atmosphere and in a win at all cost mentality, sometimes sportsmanship goes out the window at times because you're trying to win and you're fighting for a job and all that. And so it really allowed me the chance to reflect now and kind of impart onto my kids how you keep your morals, your ethics, your values, even though you're in a high intensity, high level degree of competition. And I would say also, stuff like the marketing and the law, the legal class. I had, limited, I had a little bit of a law background from my undergrad days, but not much. So that was an eye-opener for me with a lot of the contract stuff and all of that. I had contracts done, but I had agents kind of oversee it, and I
Mm-hmm.
always looked at my contracts, but, I was able towards the end to do a lot of them on my own, but I saw so many things that I could have probably done better if I'd had this background behind me in retrospect. And stuff like the marketing and advertising, like all the stuff that goes into really getting an operation to run now, those classes were eye-openers for me. So I've been able to kind of translate that into the academy, really trying to push our social media now, using the platforms that we have in today's world that they didn't have 10, 15 years ago, to really expand the brand, and not only the brand of the academy, but also my own personal brand, and that's kind of how I even ended up being in one of these ambassadorial roles for the university. So it's been a really really positive experience, and I've been able to translate a lot of it into my everyday life.
Awesome. So with all that you've done with the program, and this is another question that actually came in from a potential student, what would you say has been the most enjoyable part? Is there anything that sticks out, a project or an assignment that you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, I touched on the leadership one for sure. That one was really cool, getting to playing professionally, you have a kind of bond with other professional athletes, and it was really cool to sit down with Tyrod and, just shoot the win sometimes, even though throughout the interview just compare and contrast experiences and stuff, and obviously he's on a different scale than me just financially with the money they make, but, I had a good career, and, just hearing about his personal experiences and managing a locker room, and, especially with them where it's kind of divided into offense, defense, special teams, how does he kind of still maintain the ability to be the leader of the entire group? And talking to David Lee and his experiences, he was down with the Dolphins as well with Chad Pennington, and he, called Chad one of the best leaders he's ever been around, and just talking about his leadership style, and others like Brady and Big Ben and some of the ones he's interacted with. That was really a cool project for me.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, I would say, that was close to me. I don't remember which class exactly, but I had to do a big project on FIFA and corruption in FIFA, and that one was really close to my heart because I'm not sure how many people have a soccer background here, but Jack Warner, who was an ex-vice president of FIFA, is from Trinidad and Tobago, and I've had a relationship with him since I was, let's say, about 10 or 11 years old. So it was very conflicting for me because I know of all the indiscretions in his life that he's done as part of FIFA, but I also know him as somebody who's been very altruistic towards us as players and very giving towards us as players and stuff. And so it's always with conflict with somebody that you care about in a certain way and has been given to you, to see the other side of them, or to report on the other side of them, or to discover certain things of their actions, and kind of deal with that. Internally, that caused me a little bit of conflict because knowing the person and seeing kind of what he's turned into and what power did to him, that was kind of hard to swallow. But that course really helped me as well. I would say for me, a lot of the reading, this interesting reading, but I was always a student that was better at going into classes and taking notes and then kind of studying from there. So the required reading has been a challenge at times for me. But even within that, there's certain classes that the reading is exceptional, but I prefer a lot of the discussions where you actually get to interact with your classmates on the discussion boards,
Mm-hmm.
and hear their positions and stuff. It makes it a little bit closer to what you get in a classroom, because now you're getting different perspectives and ideas, and what you have is you'll have a topic to write a discussion on, and then you have to usually respond to at least two classmates, and then kind of go back and forth. So that's been really really cool to to hear different perspectives and different ideas on all these topics and stuff in sports. And then also some of the assignments have been really enjoyable to do. It's demanding, but it's enjoyable.
Okay. And so with all that you've done, both you know, as far as education and your personal career, what are you looking to do long term? What are you looking to do once you achieve your degree here?
Yeah, so you know, a big part of the University of Miami, and when I looked into the program, was just kind of seeing the massive network that you have, and it really allows you to kind of go in any direction. I remember my first visit to the school, and sorry, even though it's not mandatory, I would always advocate after having done it that if you get the opportunity to go down and meet the professors and stuff, you should totally do it, because it gives you a little bit more of a personalized experience with the teachers and the program, and also it kind of allows you to see and compare and contrast how the on-campus people do it as opposed to the online, the similarities and differences. But I think from the networking has really opened up a huge plethora of opportunities that I can go in, and one of the things with going down to campus was actually talking to the professors about that, you know, not being sure in which direction exactly I'd want to take it having the degree, because obviously I have a decent career coaching wise, and I've you know had the highest licenses that you can have in coaching in North America to this point, and I have a good shoe in the coaching aspect, but long term I probably see myself not wanting to be pigeonholed in that. So I've always looked at something as you know, maybe a GM, because I think I have a good eye for talent, and having been in the industry, I have a good ability to relate with player personnel and with coaches and all of that. So dealing with that, I think I would have a good ability to do that. The legal side was interesting, and I don't know if I necessarily want to go through more school to do law school right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would say also maybe end goal would probably be something on the collegiate side, just because I know, especially with my kids, and when they get to that age, you probably want something a little bit more stable, and the professional ranks is such an unstable environment with hiring and firing and all of that. So towards the point in time that my kids are young, that they get to an age where they're looking to enter into university and stuff, I probably want to look at something like that, you know, within an athletic director post, or even a coaching job. I might, you know, if I want to get back into that at that point in time, just to kind of see it through towards the end. That's some of the things that I've kind of been tussling with, you know. But that being said, I'm open to anything, to all experiences, you know, and with the experience I have right now, where you have to run the academy, and having to be a jack of all trades to a certain extent, I think that I can fit into probably a lot of different environments within the sport industry. And now it just, you know, if anything comes up, I'm open to listening. But I think the biggest thing with the network is just being able um, to kind of have that opportunity to pick and choose as you go forward. So I think as my degree is winding down, scheduled to graduate in December, I'd probably take you know, a few months to just self-reflect and see if I want to stay within the youth coaching for a little while, and then maybe start putting out feelers for something else beyond that.
Okay, and then the last question that I wanted to ask you is, are there any helpful hints that you have for, you know, students that are on this call right now? Any bits of advice, anything that you want to tell them?
Yeah, I'd say do it. You know, first and foremost, I'd say do the degree. You know, it's been such a rewarding experience. You know, and there's nothing negative at all that I could say about the experience. Everything has been positive. It's been hard. It's been hard at times. Like, it's not gonna be a bed of roses, especially if you have a hectic career. But I think one of the things that I would say is, when you get into it, don't be afraid to reach out to your classmates and try to make that bond, even though you're probably thousands of miles away or hundreds of miles away from each other. Everybody's kind of going through the same experiences, and everybody's going through the same struggles with the degree. And I think once you start to like reach out to people and develop that ability to talk outside of the discussion boards, and you know, relate to each other. Like, because I travel so much, I'm on like in a WhatsApp group with a couple of them, and we kind of talk and compare and contrast, and we try to help each other into, you know, in terms of, okay, well, hey, what are you thinking this week in terms of this project? You know, are you, like, where can you find, where you looking at your data to research for this assignment? And there's a lot of group projects as well. So within the group projects, you're also kind of forced to interact with some of the other students, and that's helped the bond as well. But I would say that's one of the key things, is to really use the opportunity to reach out to the other students and kind of develop that bond, because as you say, going into, I'd say anything going into this industry, networking is a key, and in all industries, I guess, at this point in time, being the ability to network. You never know, coming out of this degree, somebody might get a job that ends up getting you a position or a job somewhere. So don't be afraid to do that, and as well, really lean on the professors if you have to. They're all great. Like I've interacted with them now, or personally at the sport conference, and before that with Dr. Martin and Professor Dees, and then I met Professor Jessup and Dr. Mullane, and all of them to a person. They're fantastic people. They're willing to help you. Their job and their goal, as they see it, is to help you through. Not to, like, I remember growing up in Trinidad, school was like, you felt like everybody was trying to like weed out the best, and to really, it was almost like they wanted to see people fail. And the difference with, schooling in the U.S. and particularly in this program is everybody wants to see you succeed. They want to see you come out with this degree. They want to see you come out as a better student, and as a true asset to the sport industry moving forward. And I think that, like I'd say, one of the biggest joys I've had is being able to interact with both the students and the professors, and all that they've been able to impart on me knowledge-wise and support-wise, in terms of all that I've been doing.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again, Leslie, for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us, and just giving, the students who are attending this call, or the prospective students who are attending this call, more of an insight to the UOnline program. So thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I'm here until it's done, and if you guys need to ask any more questions or anything, I'm around.
Yes, definitely. If you have any questions for Leslie or any questions about the program in general, guys, keep giving me questions, and I'll keep making sure that they get answered for you. So moving on in our webinar, and I know that Leslie did a great job of talking about our faculty as he was talking about his experience with the online programs. One of the aspects that's incorporated into the program is social media. And social media is everywhere right now. It's something, that has definitely taken over. So one of the things that our faculty does is Twitter. It's actually going to be something that you set up within your first program or your first course here with the program. And it'll be something that you continue to use. And as you can see, our faculty have their Twitter handles there, so it's definitely a way to reach out to them, to communicate with them. And something cool that we actually have coming up that we wanted to share with you all, we actually have what we call a Twitter chat that will be happening this Friday, August 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's entitled The Olympic Dream, A Sport Business Perspective, and it aligns with the opening ceremony for the Olympics. So if you have a Twitter already, you definitely want to make sure to tune in. If you don't have a Twitter, you definitely want to go to twitter.com. This is a great time to go ahead and set up your account. That way you get familiar with everything firsthand. Our handle is at UMSportsBiz, B-I-Z. And a fun fact that I just wanted to share with everyone, because I know I'm super excited about it, we actually have an alum that's competing in the Olympics this year. His name is Sam Dorman, and he is competing with his partner in the synchronized 3-meter event. So definitely check your listings. I know that everyone's excited about, swimming and running and gymnastics, but definitely look for him as well and watch that event. So now that we've shared with you all of this great information, I know that the question on everyone's mind is, how do I apply for this program? The first thing that I want to tell you is that our deadline for the fall is August 15th, but I don't want you to get nervous. Yes, it is right around the corner, but you do have more than enough time to get your application in so we can get it over to our faculty for consideration into the program. Students who are looking to start in the fall, the start date of the program is September 5th. So the application process, the decision is based on the overall quality of your application. So they're going to be looking at, your GPA upon graduation with your undergrad. They'll be looking at your resume. There's also a personal statement. And there's 2 letters of professional recommendation. So I've had students that have actually completed the application process in one day, but a bit of advice that I wanted to give you all is that typically students get kind of stuck in the professional letter of recommendation phase, and that's because you have to reach out to two individuals, and you don't want to bombard people, but at the same time you want to get the letters in. So the best advice that I can give to you all is to reach out to those two individuals beforehand and say, hey, I'm applying to this program at the University of Miami. I've listed you as a recommender. Once you get the link, because we'll be sending them a link on your behalf to go ahead and complete the letter, if you could get that to me or get that to the university as soon as possible, I would greatly appreciate it. And that way we can go ahead and knock that off the list, and that'll be one less thing you have to worry about. Aside from that, if you're going to start the application process, and I know I touched upon it earlier in the presentation, there is, again, a minimum 35% tuition scholarship that will be awarded to students who are starting in the fall. So there are definitely options for additional tuition scholarships, and the best way for your enrollment advisor to determine that is going to be off of your transcripts and your most recent resume. So if you are, for example, going to start the application after we finish this call, if nothing else tonight, definitely upload those transcripts and the resume. Ultimately, we will need your official transcripts, but if right now all you have is an unofficial copy, that's more than fine. Definitely get those documents in so that when your enrollment advisor reaches out to you, we can already let you know what you're looking at in terms of scholarships. And as you can see at the bottom, that is the website to go ahead and apply. It's myonline.miami.edu. I know a question that I get often is, I've never used, an online setting. I haven't taken an online class. What's really awesome about our what we refer to as onboarding process is that it is one-on-one for each and every student. So it's not a situation where we're going to admit you into the program and then come September 5th, you're completely on your own. We're going to walk you through our student portal, which is a great resource for all students to have to answer all questions. You're going to have a one-on-one advising appointment. We're going to go over all the aspects of financial aid. So all questions and concerns that you have, our onboarding appointment is designed, or our onboarding process, shall I say, that is designed to answer all of those questions and concerns so that come September 5th, all of the anxiety is gone. You can start your program and do well in your classes and focus on that. Tuition and financial aid is, of course, another hot topic that students have. Currently, the base tuition is $1,900 per credit hour. That's not including that minimum 35% tuition scholarship that I mentioned. Also, I wanted to reiterate that students who, or potential students who are on this call tonight, if you are, starting in the fall, we will go ahead and waive your tuition deposit. Aside from that, similar to your undergrad experience, there's federal loans. There's veteran programs, including the Yellow Ribbon Fund. There's also the option of looking into private educational loans. There's the Row Fund for international students. If you're looking to pay out of pocket, we have monthly payment plans. And then, of course, there's the tuition remission aspect of it versus the tuition reimbursement. So any faculty or staff that might be on the call right now, the program is not eligible for tuition remission. And then, of course, if you're interested in tuition reimbursement, you just want to check with your employer on that. And that way, when you reach out to your enrollment advisor, you can go ahead and let them know that that's what you're looking to do as far as covering the cost of your tuition. All right, I wanted to give just a few more moments for any last-minute questions that you guys might have, any questions, concerns, anything you want me to reiterate, anything that I didn't answer. If for whatever reason, you don't have any questions now or you think of something last minute, you can definitely reach out to us via email. It's onlineinfo@miami.edu, or you can call the 1-800 number and speak with an enrollment advisor directly, and that's 1-800-411-2290. Just wanted to reiterate the amazing tuition scholarships that we have available for students who are looking to start in the fall. And once again, as a thank you for attending the webinar tonight, all students who join our September class, we will waive your $300 enrollment deposit. Again, as you can see, that's the website with all of the information for our program, as well as the website to go ahead and actually apply for the program. So I first of all wanted to thank Leslie again for joining us and sharing his insight into the program. So thank you, Leslie, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. And thank you all again for showing up and listening to the webinar. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, we're definitely here to help you. anything that we can do to go ahead and make the transition smooth, we're here to help. So everyone have a good night here on the East Coast, and go Canes.